Hey guys, Jay here and welcome to another cosplay tutorial. So as you can tell, this one's a little bit different. That's because I don't have an intro and outro filmed, mostly because I like to show you guys what it is like in person up against me or something. So you guys have kind of like a relative size comparison, I guess. Sadly, I can't do that because I don't have the prop with me. The prop is for my friend Hardy-kun, who you guys might have seen in some of my videos. So I'm gonna use a picture of him with it. He doesn't have the cosplay yet all the way, so you're gonna have to make do. Anyway, this is Naofumi's default shield from the Rising of the Shield Hero. To start off, I fold a piece of paper in half that's about the right size, and then just sketch the shield shape on there. And this is only a rough guesstimate, you'll understand why later. And then I sketched the exact same thing just 2 1/4 inches away from the first line. This outer side is going to be what folds down to become the shield's sides, I guess. Don't worry about the measurements, just do what you think is the right size. You'll see why in a moment because I do have to redo it. Then using a hobby knife, I just cut everything out. Here I use a piece of scrap paper to line up the edge with the fold so that I can make the rest of the bottom of the shield because my paper was too small. Then I cut it out, traced a second one, and then taped them together where the fold would be, and cut the second one out using the first one as pretty much a base. Now that they're both cut out, they can fit on the shield when it's laying flat. You can't do this while it's folded because the paper just gets in the way and it's too hard to do. It's easier to do it this way. Trust me, I tried. Then on the corners of the shield, I mark the darts that are going to be cut out, and then I cut them out. The reason I'm making these triangular darts is so that now when those two parts meet, they'll be at an angle, which is exactly what I want. Then I cut all the pieces off, and now I have 3 patterns. Now here I did make registration marks, but later on I'm not really going to need them. So I didn't even really bother, so you can actually skip this step. And here you can see what all the pieces are like, separated after I cut them. I then traced the pattern onto some 1/2 inch thick EVA foam and cut it out. Putting it up against my arm, this is where I realized it was too big, so I made the pattern smaller and then just cut the excess off of the shield itself so I wasn't wasting any more foam. And then I cut out all of the other pieces, making sure that there was a roughly 45-degree angle cut into all of the sides that were going to be touching other foam. This will help it keep that angled shape, and you can actually see that right here. So I glue everything together, and right here I did notice that it didn't connect correctly, so I'm going to tell you now this and other imperfections were fixed by putting wood filler inside it, and then sanding it smooth. You can paint right over it. To make the shield light up, I used half of a build-it-yourself Christmas ornament and a battery-powered light that I got on Amazon that you can both push the lens to turn it on or use the remote that it came with. Then on the pattern, I measure and cut out a hole in the center where that ornament is going to go. I transfer that onto the foam and cut it out. After I hot glued the dome in place, I traced and cut out a second shield shape, which is what the light is going to fit into, and the way it's going to connect is on the back of the shield, in between the shield and the cosplayer's arm. Now this is important, I had to use Gorilla Glue to put the light in place, or else it wouldn't stay on, because the battery compartment twists off. So I had to make it strong enough so that it wouldn't rip back out. I then cut this second piece down to a much more manageable piece, which is a square, found where the center was, and then marked it on the shield in silver Sharpie. In the anime, the shield doesn't actually have straps, but in reality it's gonna have to, so I just used these white elastic pieces that I had, and I super glued one onto the top. I then cut 4 corner shapes out and contact cemented them onto the back of the shield. This makes it so the housing for the light doesn't slide around. Then I made a makeshift handle out of a bunch of scrap pieces. It's just a couple of rectangles and a few squares put together to make a handle. I finished off the top strap with hot glue and another strip of foam. I then frosted the inside of the dome, and with the outside of the dome covered, I painted the entire shield a dull silver. I then used a ton of masking tape to mask off the shield so I can paint the design, and hit it with dark gray spray paint. And you can see that once I remove all of the tape. And there you go, that's the shield.